can't believe you guys had such little faith in me. Such little faith in me. But as I say, every single Monday morning, it is a vibe. What is up, nerds? It's me, your buddy pal, HeyArcher. Welcome back to Nerdy Coffee here on Nerd Affiliated. So happy to have all of you here with me today. I was 2 minutes late because I was nerding out. That's right. I was nerding out on a bunch of things. I'll talk to you about it probably a little bit later. But so happy you guys are here with me today. I'm failing you on one thing. I am failing you on one thing. I just want to make sure I sound good in the headphones. I do. Sometimes because of the hats, it sounds weird, but I don't have a hot cup of brew. But hopefully by now, you guys have a nice hot cup of brew as we talk the news. It's usually where I... But if you have a YouTube channel, podcast, blog, vlog, OnlyFans, newsletter, smoke signals, whatever it may be, put it in the chat, support one another, plug yo shit. If I had another cup of coffee right now, I would be not only pissing myself, but I probably would go full New Yorker in conversation and talk so fast, you'd have to watch this at like 75% speed. That's all I'm saying. I am rocking the lumberjack today, hipster today. Can't wait for Archer's Nirvana band to start. Yeah. You never know. What's up, EC Collecting? Good to see ya. Brunswick Square Music. Good. Is this your first time here? I think it might be. No? I'll say hello and welcome as though it is your first time here. I'm second on a Monday morning. Everyone should be worried. There you go. I think you might have been third at that point. But no, I beat you. It's not even 9:15 yet. I'm here. Oh, man, you guys kill me. Geek Strong in the house. Good to see you. LeBron Fett. Good to see you. Yukon Phil. Good to see you. I was just enjoying the comments. Creativity from the future. Good to see you. Yeah, it's a look. It's a vibe. JB's Toy Trunk. Good to see you. Love that. I'm eating a hot cup of apple cinnamon oatmeal. That sounds pretty good. That sounds pretty damn good. And it is your first time. All right, awesome. Welcome aboard. Love it. JB says, Proton Pack tutorial from South Carolina Ghostbuster in my next video. Tonight, 5 p.m. Eastern. I cannot wait to see that. Will JB join us on the dark side of Proton Pack building? Will JB finally do it? Will JB don the suit? We have to find out. 5 p.m. Eastern, according to his comment. Yes, it's so good to see all of you guys here. Don't know why this was this is all wonky. Hang on, let me see if I can fix this. Which way did I turn that? That way. All right. And then that goes in there. And we're good. Negative Ghostbuster. JB, why do you have to spoil the surprise, man? Yeah, so just to remind you guys, channel memberships are back. Link is down below. So if you want to join the new YouTube channel memberships or channel memberships part 2, you can hit the link down below. You can also, as a reminder, you can also hit up nerdaffiliated.com, and there you'll be able to find links to everything. Join the Nerd Foundation. If you want to just donate, you can do that. But you can also find links to our other channels, Twitch, Kick, Sal's Twitch, our latest videos, all that fun stuff. If you're more of an audio-only podcaster, You find that too. I feel like I don't talk about that enough. I don't actually at all. I don't talk about that at all unless you're somebody who currently is one of my audio only listeners. But for you video listeners, if you ever miss a show, like I know JB's usually at work, and it's easier for you to catch the replay on like Spotify, Apple Music, etc., you can always listen to it either through the website or on those apps. So usually the replay's up within 24 hours. Rarely, but I can think of a couple times where it was like 48 hours. But if you are a listener, or sorry, if you prefer your podcast in audio form, you can always listen to it that way. Don't feel like you have to be here live to catch the show. Look at this. A sexual Tyrannosaurus. If you want to get some cool merch, there's always the store there. Get yourself some sweet merch, some stickers, new shirt. Actually, I do have to make some new stickers. I just got my sample in, and I liked it. So we'll have some the Real Nerdbuster R&D stickers coming to the site. You can also visit us on Instagram. That's Nerd Affiliated, where you'll find we are way more active there. Posting news, posting shorts. I said posting like I'm from Minnesota. Posting shorts, news, all that fun stuff over at Nerd Affiliated. But as I hinted to, if you're really digging the Ghostbuster type stuff, you can follow us at The Real Nerdbusters on Instagram. Also, therealnerdbusters.com. And that's where you can get your Proton Pack fix. Dropped a new video yesterday, actually. So if you're into that kind of thing, you want to live on the wild side, go into the shadows, because I was born in it. Sorry. You can visit us at The Real Nerd Busters. Let's catch up on some comments here. JB has to start in reception. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. We'll put you on the desk, screen some calls, and then eventually maybe you can do some driving. Just get your feet wet a little bit, just get out in the field, see what's out there, see if the bustin's for you. And if you want to don the pack, boom. I didn't know you had a podcast. But I like being here live. Yeah. And so HeyArcher actually started out as a podcast, pre-recorded audio with the visual component. And then HeyArcher Live, that started out, it was actually 2020. I want to start doing some live streaming. So I started a separate thing. So I had the HeyArcher podcast going, and I had HeyArcher Live going. And eventually the podcast kind of fizzled off. It's still there. I posted a video a couple months ago, but I like the live thing. I like talking to you guys in real time. If there's a guest, I like talking to the guests in real time. So that's why I don't do the dedicated podcast as much. Rolando in the house, good to see ya. Patrick in the house, know your craft, good to see ya. A lot of videos are coming this week and next, all pack related. Thanks for the reminder. So channel members actually have access to a new Ghostbuster video. So we dropped one yesterday. There's another one that's dropping this week, but that one's currently live for members only. And there'll be a couple more dropping for members only way in advance before they roll into the public view. So 99 cents a month. Join the Nerd Foundation and get early access to videos. Don't forget to hit that like button like Anakin hits those younglings. There you go. I'm saying it's hard to not grab a life size after the series. It is. So one more thing before I start covering today's topics. I changed up the visuals here. I don't know if you've noticed. I don't know if that's something that's coming through the screen right away. But for all of you video nerds, because we like to cover all the nerd bases, I'm filming this currently at 23.976 frames per second. So it should have a more like cinematic-y look than the usual 30 frames a second. So let me know if you enjoy the colors here, the visuals here as I'm moving. Does it seem choppy? Is it bothering your eyes, the visuals here? Just let me know. Maybe watch an old video and see if there's one you prefer. So I was watching videos on that, and that's why I was late this morning. Otherwise, I would have been pretty good. I actually, speaking of the latest video, I was watching and editing, the Proton Pack video, and I hated it. I hated all of the talking head parts because I was like, it just doesn't look right. Why does it not look like all these other like cool YouTubers that put out videos and all that stuff? And it was basic stuff that I forgot about because I don't spend as much time doing like pre-recorded videos as much as I do like these live videos. So because I haven't done a lot of those, you kind of forget things. And that's why they always say repetition is everything. Like Geek Strong and Anthony would tell you, it's all about those reps at the gym. And I was like, son of a bitch, it was frame rate. Frame rate is what I've not been doing correctly because I haven't had to look at it in so long. So there's my video nerd stuff for today. But I'm also, last thing, I've been debating starting another channel. I don't know about restarting HeyArcher 1 on YouTube because that one to the algorithm is all toy stuff, and I kind of want to start fresh, and I want to do like more photography and video stuff. It wouldn't be very consistent. It wouldn't be like multiple posts a week. I don't even know if I'll do long form stuff, but I'm thinking about doing some, because I love that stuff usually. And who was it? Yukon Phil. When Yukon Phil does his interviews with people, he'll usually ask like, oh, what are your favorite YouTubers? Like, who do you like to watch? Shout out Yakking with Yukon every Sunday night, 8 p.m. Eastern. And I'm one of those that usually, if you were to like randomly walk in to my house, which would be weird, but if you randomly walked in the house and I was watching YouTube, I would be either watching Cops, maybe one of your latest toy hunts, and street photography videos. Those are like the three things I'm like usually watching. So since I do reviews and Anthony does reviews and Sal does reviews, Aaron, since we all do reviews, I don't tend to watch other people's reviews of like movies and TV shows and stuff. I don't want it to affect my decision on something unless I'm not going to review it at all. Different story. But I'm usually watching video and photography stuff. So I want to start doing it. I don't want to just do what I had started doing on this channel way before it was nerd affiliated, where I'm like, this is the Canon 50 millimeter 1.2 blah, blah, blah. I don't want to necessarily do that. A million people do that already. But I want to do something around video and photography. So thinking about making a whole new channel just to do that. Don't know how frequently I would post there, but I want to spread my wings, man. I want to be like a peacock and fly. Caw-caw. Caw-caw. Creativity from the Future says 100% the new video and photography channel. LeBron said, you heard it here, party at Archer's. It's true. It's damn true. EC said, yeah, the new visuals are throwing me off in a good way or a bad way, because Creativity says he likes it. KO in the house, good to see you. Aaron Waller in the house, good to see you. The man collects in the house, good to see you. Looks smooth. Is a video change for your Fall Out Boy videos? Going down, down, and nearly around. Sugar, we're going down, spinning. I'll be your number one with the bullet. A loaded God complex. Cock it and pull it. Bump, 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 a transition to the first news article of today. How was that? That was pretty good, huh? It's pretty good. It's pretty good. Pretty good. I usually don't talk politics here, and I will continue to not talk politics, but I will talk about something that I thought was very interesting. I saw this. I'm not going to lie. I kind of thought it was a joke. And, you know, all of us here, for the most part, are creators in some way, shape, or form. We're on social media. And this is usually how we not only communicate with each other, we express our creativity, we get information. Hell, I don't even really watch the news like that anymore, as much as I just look at social media. What are people talking about? And then if I want more information, then I seek out the news. But I saw a clip that the mayor of New York City, Eric Adams, is going to be suing social media companies. And this is all going to be mental health related. Not quite sure how that would work. So I figured, why not look at it together? We won't watch the whole thing, but let's give our thoughts and see if this is even a legit thing. Here we go.
My fellow New Yorkers, this is a city built on innovation and technology, a place where we celebrate progress and look to the future. But even as we have created jobs, opportunity, and prosperity with new technology.
By the way, shout out to my hometown, New York City. You're going through it. You're going through it. But speaking of photography, this is a pretty cool shot. That's a pretty cool shot. Pretty good.
There have been unforeseen consequences and new dangers, especially when it comes to social media's effect on the mental health of our young people. Over the past decade, we have seen just how addictive and overwhelming the online world can be, exposing children to content they are not ready for, disrupting the educational process, and seriously damaging their self-esteem and well-being. Our most recent data found that young people in New York City are experiencing anxiety, hopelessness, and even attempted suicide at rates we have never seen before. And there is growing evidence that the power of social media is a major cause. This is a serious problem that must be addressed now.
So on a less of a jokey feel here, I think there's more to people feeling that way, and more specifically young people. I think there's more to it than just social media. Like, I don't know if that's 100% correct, especially in a place like New York City. Like, I don't know about you guys, those of you who don't live in New York City, but growing up in the city, you're exposed to a lot of stuff. Like, when they say it's a melting pot, that's legit. Like, it's just every type of lifestyle, every culture, every religion, every type of person, everything is there. And it's easy to be affected on a mental health level by just your surroundings. Like, I remember as a kid going to church with my parents, and I lived in the Bronx. We'd go to Manhattan. That's where we were for church in down in Midtown. And, as we're leaving and heading home, I see these like larger than life buildings and people driving like these super nice cars and wearing these cool clothes and all these things. And then we'd get on the train, you're underground, comes up from underground, and now you're like, there's garbage and there's like rats and there's like people in like legit poverty, like huge contracts. And that can really affect a young person if you're like, oh, that's so unobtainable. I can never live that way. I can only live this way. So there's more to it than just social media. I just think social media puts that more in your face. Like, you can't really avoid it as much as you used to when you just go home. So I'm not sure I fully agree with that, but let's continue.
That is why earlier this morning, our administration filed a lawsuit against the companies that own 5 major social media platforms: TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, Snapchat, and YouTube. As we announced last month,
The weird thing here is Facebook and Instagram are owned by the same company, Meta. So 4 companies, technically. It happens to the best of us.
the State of the City address, we must take action to protect our children from harm online, including the growing dangers presented by social media. Together, the New York City Department of Health and Mental Hygiene, New York City Health and Hospitals, and the New York City Department of Education, we are filing litigation today demanding that companies be held accountable for their platforms' damaging influence on the mental health of our young people. And we're seeking to recover the cost of addressing this ongoing public health threat as well.
What's up, K-Walk? Good to see you. She says, I lived in Brooklyn for 13 years, best and worst times of my life. Yeah. And who else was it? Creativity says, I grew up and raised in the Bronx. Now I live in upstate New York in the country, but the city is the best melting pot in the country. Yeah. I like that. I live in the country, but that is the best melting pot in the country. Poetry. I don't understand who they are suing on behalf of. Like, to me, one, this sounds like the most, and no offense to anybody, this sounds like the most boomer thing I've ever heard of. Like, I'm suing Facebook because it hurts my mental health. Like, I'm going to sue the internet because the internet is dangerous. Like that, it's along those lines. Like, I'm not sure that Matt Murdock would take the case. I think Matt might skip on it. But I could see if they were like, oh, we're going to sue on behalf of this person because this person's family was affected by this thing that was on social media and etc. I could maybe see that, but when they're talking about these 3 organizations, I'm not sure mental hygiene was a real phrase. I don't know if that's a thing, but New York City Health, New York City Department of Education, and Health and Hospitals. I'm like, it seems like they're just suing because they're like, maybe we'll win and get some money. That's what it feels like to me. So, not sure what the end goal is here. Are these organizations, is the mayor looking for the social media companies to say, hey, you've been on our app for this amount of time, we're going to shut you out? Or, hey, these geo-zoned places, aka schools, the apps won't work there. Like, what are they looking for here? I don't like it. I don't like this whole idea. One, as a taxpayer in a different state, but as a taxpayer nonetheless, I would hate to think that like my money's going to a bunch of people deciding they're going to sit down, draft the paperwork, organize a press conference, consult professionals to figure out if this is a viable thing, and proceed with this on company time. It just seems like a waste. So let me fast forward to see if he says anything that's like
eating disorders and suicidal ideation. Social media can damage self-esteem, promote addiction, and often encourages reckless behavior like
By the way, I did see this one part, and I was like, all right, everybody has to remember, reading off a teleprompt, talking live, your brain sometimes messes things up. So that's where I was like, I'm not sure if the mental hygiene was meant to be said accurately, but the promotes addition, I was like, that's pretty funny. But sometimes people can slip as they're talking live.
Subway surfing and car theft challenges. We have also seen a dangerous rise in misinformation, xenophobia, radicalization, and incitement to hateful acts, and even young people astonishingly declaring that Osama bin Laden was right as they rack up likes online. Instead of connecting people to one another, our social media companies initially promised their platforms to often tear us apart. These companies are well aware that negative, frightening, and outrageous content generates continued engagement and greater revenue. Children who start watching an online video for a school assignment often find that algorithms keep playing other videos, potentially taking them down a rabbit hole that is inappropriate, hateful, and even dangerous.
Yeah, I don't. All right, I'm all set here. This enters the next, not the next category, like the other thought process of like, where do the responsibilities of parents begin and end? Now, as somebody who eventually, as I got older, and thankfully my parents were able to provide like places for me to go, people and family members to stay with, like when they were at work. So I didn't become like a latchkey kid until I was probably pushing my teens. Like I always had like a babysitter or whatever, family friend. So there was always an adult around until I was probably approaching high school, I'd say. But it's so expensive to live in New York City, and you have so many transplants in New York City that it's so hard to find an adult to always be around your kids. Like that can be hard. It's hard for you to be at home with your kids. Maybe you have to work 2 jobs, 3 jobs, single parent home, different places. But if you're going to give your kid a smart device, it's up to you to activate the protections that are on there. Maybe it's just YouTube Kids in this example. Like, there are things you can do to try to limit what your kid is seeing. But at the end of the day, these are businesses. They're going to keep pushing content that keeps you on the platform. Social media is free. They only make their money through ads. So if they're going to give you an app, yeah, they're going to eventually start feeding you stuff based on what you're currently watching, liking, interacting with, because they're hoping you stay there and you keep running into these ads that they're making money on. To me, this is really basic, but that's where I'm like, he's hitting this okay boomer category where I'm like, dude, do you understand how the internet works? Do you understand how social media works? Do you understand how advertising works? So I don't get it. I think this is quite silly, and it just bothers me that like they spent time and money putting this together, putting this slideshow together. But again, from a photography perspective, shout out to the person who took this photo and got paid for it. Rambling Nerd said he still lives here now. K-Walk said she lived in Brooklyn Heights and Park Slope. Not the real Brooklyn, but the bougie Brooklyn. Patrick said cost of living, home life, access to resources, multiple other items combine to affect the upbringing of kids. I know people my age affected by more, I think you mean than just, I know people my age affected by more just as social media came into daily life. I might be reading that one wrong. Just let me know. Ramley says, nice, you're not here now. They Googled that speech. Chat GBT knows better. There you go. Brunswick says, I feel like people's behavior on social media is a problem, not the existence of social media itself. Also, I'm from Staten Island, and I love New York City, clearly, but was a challenging place as a young person. Yeah. There's many other topics that this applies to, where it's like, is that thing the problem, or is it people's usage of that thing the problem? And it doesn't, especially like as a content creator, and we were talking about the Gina Carano thing 2 weeks ago. As a content creator, you have a responsibility to what you have a responsibility to your audience, and it's up to you to determine where the boundaries exist of that responsibility. And I find that the best range to be in is if I was called into HR and they were like, this is on your social media, on your YouTube, on your podcast, will they say that is acceptable by their standards or not? And I feel like that's a good section to be in. If you're on the other ends of that thing, that's all you. Like a company has their rights to say you're fired, that doesn't go with our beliefs, all that stuff. But shock value exists outside those two walls. If you're in the safe for work parameters, in the safe for work walls, you're safe. If you're outside those parameters, that's the shock value. Those are the extreme stuff. And that tends to get more clicks and views. Now, there's always going to be two sides to a coin. So where there's positive shock value stuff, there's going to be negative stuff. And if people keep watching it, that's on them. You can go after the content creators, and that's where you enter the free speech territory. But at the end of the day, you can't blame everybody for what the few would do. Needs of the many. Spock said it best. Yeah, it's not social media. It's what people do with social media. Geek Strong says, I think some social media, especially YouTube, is extremely positive, is many way for many of us. This community means a lot to a bunch of us, and it helps a lot of us mentally. 1,000%. 1,000%. EC says another way to control people. Creativity says the government should have a say. The government should have no say in social media for children. That's the parenting. That's what parenting is supposed to be for. Yeah. Who put that thumbnail together? Laziest collage of pictures. He's going to sue AT&T because his grandkids didn't call. Yeah. So, I don't know. I couldn't take it seriously. I could not take it seriously, and I still won't take this seriously. I think the companies will laugh. And, yeah. I don't know what... If I was one of these companies, I would debate being petty, and I'd pull an Elon Musk, and I'd be like, all right, you want to sue me, cost of living here is crazy, it's becoming too expensive for me to pay to have my employees, I'm just moving my company out of New York City, I'll see you later. Whoa, hey, what was that segment? Dave Chappelle, the race draft, the racial draft, when you had Mos Def on stage and Dave Chappelle was on stage. Mos Def was representing the Black Coalition. Mos Def was Black Coalition. Dave was the White Coalition, and they're like, what was it? They traded like Condoleezza Rice for somebody else. They shook on it. And then Mos Def was like, oh, we're also taking Tiger Woods. And he's like, no, wait, one gosh darn moment here. Like, hold on there. Taking it too far. That's what's happening here. All right. Keeping it in New York City, there was an exciting post that came out from Extraplasm, the Extraplasm podcast. What's up, Chavez? Good to see you. By the way, following this stream, It's Me Chavez goes live to talk player props. So if you're into that, make sure subscribe over there to Chris. And then usually after this stream as well at 10 a.m., I think, EC should have a premiere going live on the toy hunting side. So if you like the sports stuff, you got Chavez coming up. If you like the toy collecting, you have EC coming up. Lots of fun things on a Monday morning. So on the New York City side of things, Extraplasm shared this post from Ghost Corps. And if you don't know, Ghost Corps is like I'm not going to say umbrella company because Sony is the umbrella company, but like Ghost Corps is what they call the Ghostbusters side of Ghostbusters. Like Ghostbusters is the name of the franchise, but Ghost Corps runs all the Ghostbusters things. So, for example, if there was a new franchise called like the Radical Ghostbusters, that would fall under Ghost Corps. So you have like Radical Ghostbusters, Extreme Ghostbusters, Spangler Family Show, like all that stuff. So Ghost Corps finally answered the call. And there was actually 2 calls. One was on hold. One, when is the premiere of Ghostbusters? Nobody knew. People assumed it had to be in March because the movie comes out in March. But when is it? Where is it? What city is in it? Is it in? So they answered that. New York City. They gave the date, March 14th. And they answered the second call, the one that was on hold. People were calling collect from jail. They're running out of minutes. Might have to hit up Western Union and get some more funds so I can pay for more collect call minutes. And they said, hey, some of you fans want to come to this thing? Bet. Send us an email. Boom. FrozenEmpireNYC@gmail.com. That is the email to hit up if you're trying to go to the premiere. Now, they're asking everybody, if you're trying to come to this thing, you have to for sure be in New York City. Don't say you can go. You're not even anywhere near New York City. All of a sudden the day shows up, you can't go. I'm asking the community, if anybody's watching this podcast, don't F it up for the rest of us. Don't do it. If a bunch of you people send emails, the day comes, you can't be there because you live in Australia. You can't be there because you're out in California. And all of a sudden, they got like 5 Ghostbusters there because only 5 of them live in New York City. They're never going to do this again. They're not going to do this kind of thing going forward. So don't mess it up for us. If you can't be in New York City that day, if there's no shot, don't apply to it. Don't do it. But for the rest of us, fingers crossed. Fingers crossed. This would be awesome. This would be awesome. Cutthroat, shout out to you. Good to see you. I think I said hi to everybody else so far. I bet some people will do it. Yeah, they will. They will. March 14th, Pi Day. There you go. Yeah, K-Walk. Yeah. And EC said, yeah, 9 a.m. Are you Central, right? 9 a.m. Central, 10 a.m. Pacific, Eastern. So this is very exciting. I for sure submitted to it. Hope I can get there. We still have the other members of the Ghostbusters, or the real Nerdbusters, I should say. Anthony, Steve, and Louie, all throwing their names in the hat. So hopefully the real Nerdbusters can be at the premiere. Hopefully we can get you some behind the scenes footage, document it, vlog it, that kind of thing. So if Ghost Corps happens to be watching this, please, please, please get us there. Get us there. Now, something that didn't happen that really broke some hearts this week. Apparently, a production designer and producer behind the Spider-Verse movies has revealed concept art for a Batman Beyond animated movie that they have been pitching to Warner Brothers for the past 5 months. And it looks amazing, says IGN.com. So we got these stills here, and it looks like Batman Beyond, a.k.a. Terry McGinnis, on the run from Inc., from the famous TV show. And people saw these pictures and lost their damn minds. They were all about it. They were all about it. And I will say this. Am I down for some Batman Beyond? Of course I'm down for Batman Beyond. Of course. Batman Beyond, for a lot of us as kids, was our Batman for a while because it was a new version of Batman that was our age range. So you always had Bruce Wayne. Bruce Wayne was always, to a lot of us, the older character. But finally you got Terry McGinnis in, who was a teenager, who became Batman. Quite wild. So I would be down for that. What I'm not down for is I don't need another Spider-Verse animation style movie. Like, that's Spider-Verse already. Like, just leave that as Spider-Verse. Do this differently. TMNT, Mutant Mayhem, it tried to copy that. I mean, the movie's good, but it's blatantly trying to be Spider-Verse. Like, they're trying to, like, hit while the iron's hot. And this one is doing the same thing. It's doing the same thing. So I'm ready for a Batman Beyond movie. I do think it would be better suited animated versus live action because of the future version of Gotham City, like very Blade Runner, Akira style. I think that plays better, especially if it's a series, plays better animated. And if it's a movie, I think it will still play better animated to get the cool art style of that city. I don't think CGI is where it should be at the moment to make a legit city with him flying around and doing all that stuff if it's all CGI. Like, I don't know if that's quite there yet. By the way, sorry if you hear the garbage truck outside. Let me catch up on the comments here. What's up, Josh? Good to see you, the casual nerd. I think it would be cool if they could do limited screenings in my area. That would be cool, says Cutthroat. Yeah. I was hoping they would do a screening up here in Boston. I was like, oh, maybe they do screenings in all the major cities. Actually, yesterday, Dune 2 did a fan first screening. I was pissed. I didn't know they were doing that. But I saw a friend on Instagram who lives up here who was at the theater watching Dune 2. And so happens that Sal was like, oh, I didn't know Dune 2 came out today. So I looked it up, and at 7 p.m. at all these theaters, just yesterday only, they were showing Dune 2. So it'd be great if they did that for Ghostbusters. Do, like, you know, every city at one time we could show it, and then it's on pause until the full release or something. It'd be great. EC saying hi to Casual Nerd. Patrick says they weren't ready for the real. You mean the real version or like live action version of Batman? Is that what you're talking about? Is that what we're talking about? All right. Before we go to box office, let's do a check on the Omega Prime Haslab, because we love talking Haslabs. 15,591. So it's about to hit the final unlock. 16,000. The Global Space Bridge display stands. Now, tell me if I'm wrong here, but is this the most underwhelming Haslab of all time? I feel like I'm the only person on the internet talking about this. I don't see, and maybe it's my algorithm. I don't have a single toy collector, hunter, prop builder, model builder, and nobody in my algorithm is talking about this. I'm not fully in the Transformers specific algorithm. Like, I don't watch Transformers lore videos, but I don't have any casual people at all talking about this. So I don't know. I don't see any hype for this thing, but it backed. We all predicted it would back. LeBron says the Rancor was the worst. EC says it's not a Haslab in my opinion. Yeah. Yeah, I don't think this is the worst, like, released Haslab. I think it's got the lowest pizzazz. It's got the lowest, was it Finessiqua, whatever it's called. It's got no spice. It's got no rhythm. It's got no like, boom. I don't know anybody talking about this. This thing might come out, be delivered to people's houses, and there'll be 0 reviews on this thing. So I would love it if somebody listening to the show or somebody you love has backed Omega Prime, have them DM me, comment something, and just let me know if the hype is real in the Transformers space. Because some of you who collect Transformers aren't even backing this, that watch this show on a regular basis. So there's that. Cutthroat said, a lot of my friends that do collect Transformers said they're done with Hasbro and Transformers. Interesting. All right. EC said, man, I would have loved that Rancor. I'm not going to lie. It's cool. I just don't think it's a Haslab. Yeah. Going back to the Batman conversation, Patrick said, the full mask has been tricky for them to figure out for Batman Beyond. Yeah, for sure. For sure. Geek Strong says, the Rancor Haslab had potential to be epic. Let's go back and check that out real quick. The failed Rancor. Any updates here? No updates here. All right. Rancor did not back. So the Rancor fell short of just over, or just under 500 backers. And what was the Rancor again? Was it $400, $300, somewhere in there? But it was, to scale as a Black Series. It came with this Luke Skywalker, I think it's a stretch goal, if I remember. Terrible CG render of Skywalker. Got a coin. Got Salacious Crumb. Did you get a piggy too? Yeah, 27 inches. So tier 1 was a piggy, 2 skulls, tier 3 was Salacious, 4 was Luke Skywalker. And it wasn't 5 like some background cardboard backdrop. Oh, they added the backdrop to the tier 2. Yeah. Yeah, this was a botch. Just a botch. I think the Rancor is cool in a collection, but this could have also just been a fan channel exclusive. Put a pre-order window up, made to order, but not a Haslab. Definitely not for anything more than what, $100? Yeah. Yeah. I that's $100. It ain't $300-$400, whatever they were trying to do. Cutthroat says, it looks cool. Wonder why it didn't fund. Maybe people thought it wasn't a Haslab project. Oh, you weren't around for that one. That was a fun ride. The Rancor Haslab was a fun ride. When was this? It'll run to October. What year was the Rancor? Is it at the bottom somewhere? Was the Rancor like 2021, maybe? So what happened was they announced this Haslab, and Haslabs are still new to the scene. Like, it had been done before. People were like coming off the highs of the Razor Crest and Jabba Sail Barge. Like, you had those two Haslabs back previously, but now you had a Black Series Haslab, like a much bigger, figure as far as Star Wars goes. So people are like, cool, we finally get a Rancor for our collections. But then they made the Haslab, and it's like, all right, that's weird because the Razor Crest and the sail barge, those things are massive. So I can understand why this has to be a Haslab, and you can't sell it in a store. Like, there's more intricacies to it. They come apart. There's got levels and all sorts of stuff. But the Rancor was like, it's just a figure. So I'm not sure why it's a Haslab. And then when people saw the price, they were like, that's BS. Like, this thing should not be in that $300 range. Again, I think that's what it was. Let me check the app. The app always saves the prices where the website does not. Load up here. Go to Haslab. Past projects. So like the sail barge was $500. The Razor Crest, $350. And the Rancor. Oh, these are past. Why can't I see the past failed ones? That's weird. Oh no, they do have the failed ones here. Where is the Rancor? The Rancor is not on. The Rancor is not on the app. It's weird. If anybody remembers, let me know the price. But yeah, people are like, the price doesn't make sense on this thing. And then when they announced the unlockables to go with it, people were like, the pig should not be an unlock. That's a figure that should be released. So that doesn't make any sense. Like, the unlockable things should be special. And maybe a figure you wouldn't have gotten otherwise, that eventually you could probably get a re-release on. But something brand new and that you couldn't get. So the pig being 11,000, people were like, that's stupid. We just got a figure for that. It's just on the special card. The skulls was all right. Salacious was cool, but people were like, that should be a release. Like, you should have a Salacious to go with a Jabba. So not sure why that's there. And then when they announced the final tier, you need to give 19,000 backers to get Skywalker. People were like, that's definitely a mass release. I already got like 50 Luke Skywalkers. Why would this be the final tier unlock? The one that everybody was confused on was, I don't think he was guaranteed in this. Like, that he should be your tier 1 unlock. The Rancor holder or manhandler, whatever. That's your tier 1, if anything, because you need him to go with it. But it doesn't justify $350, even having his character there. And then they were like, hey, you guys asked for more. We're giving you more. We're giving you a backdrop, like a straight up printed on cardboard backdrop. And the fans were like, you know what? We're good. We're good. But then the final piece to the story, on the very last day, people were like, F it. Let's back it and just see if it happens. And all these people started backing it. All of a sudden, the numbers were climbing and people were like, holy shit, we might actually get this thing. You wouldn't get any of the unlocks. You weren't going to get any of the unlocks, but it started to back. And then finally, buzzer hit. It didn't make it. A bunch of people were like, oh, if it just had like 2 more hours. But you would have paid the $350, $400 for just the Rancor at that point. You wouldn't get any of the unlocks. So terrible. One of the worst Haslabs all time. I think still to this day, the two up for debate on the worst would be Reva's lightsaber. Yes, a lightsaber was a Haslab. And then the Engine of Vengeance. $350 for a car and a Ghost Rider. Neither are the versions you'd want to see or you even think of when you say the name Ghost Rider. Yeah. Patrick said, "Feel so hard. I removed it from my memory." Cutthroat says, "I would pay 150." Yeah, 150 is like fair. It's like a deluxe figure, right? But not 3 something. And that's where Giant Man was like them testing the waters. Giant Man was $200, way more articulation, way more details to the Rancor. And I think at 150, Giant Man would have like smashed it. Like people would have bought the crap out of that figure. But at 200, it still did well. Didn't get all the unlocks, but still did all right. Engine of Vengeance was wild. And then the Reva's lightsaber. This one didn't even make it to the halfway mark in backing. I think this was also 300-ish. And it didn't spin. Literally, if Hasbro came to me, if I was the CEO of Hasbro, if I was the head of the Disney side of Hasbro, if you came to me and said, we have an Inquisitor lightsaber, right? And they named it Reva because they swore Reva was going to be a big hit on the Kenobi show. I actually liked her, but they swore she was going to be a big hit, named it Reva. I would have been like, just delete that part. Because all the Inquisitors have this. So name it the Inquisitor lightsaber and show me how it spins. Oh, it doesn't spin? Don't release it. It's not a Haslab then. This thing's a standard release. What, $200? $200? That's that. Yeah. When I was a kid, I thought the handler was my mom. Oh man. Don't forget one of the unlocks was a bag of bones. Yeah. Yeah. She looked like him, man. LeBron's savage out here. EC said, yeah, the Engine of Vengeance was bad. Yeah, it should cost more than a quarter scale NECA Predator or Turtle. Yeah, shouldn't. Yeah. That's a really good point. The Rancor was 17 point something inches tall. The wingspan was 2 feet because of the arms. But on its own, 17 inches tall, no reason why it shouldn't cost around the same price as a NECA 12-inch quarter scale. Cutthroat says $299 at best for the lightsaber. Yeah. Why the hell wouldn't it spin? Exactly. It's literally what those sabers are known for, or spinning. So that was a bomb. That was a bomb on their part. All right, 10 o'clock. Let's do 2 quick things. Just want to check on the latest Hasbro Marvel Legends releases. Still, all of them are up for pre-order. Not sold out. This line is very interesting to me. We were talking about this last week. I think this was a good wave. I think the cable's cool. I think the Khazar's great. No desire for Red Widow or Icarus, but they're good figures. Same here. I thought some of these would be sold out by now. But, I think that's a empty can rattles the most scenario. So many people in the Marvel Legends YouTube space, I won't say any names, talk about, and it's not T3, by the way, in case someone's like, oh, T3, he collects Marvel Legends, it's him. No, I'm not talking about T3. A lot of people in the Marvel Legends space that try to be company people will be like, oh, we need this this figure to complete a team. We need these characters from the comics to blah, blah, blah. They ask for the most obscure shit. And I think you run into this scenario where it's so obscure, like the average person doesn't care. Like, how many people want to complete their X Factor team? I bet you most people don't even know X Factor. Hell, Wolfsbane might not even be X Factor, it might be X Force, and I'm getting them confused. It's not that. It's so niche. It's just so niche. So I think it's a great wave. I think all the figures look good. I'm curious to see if any of these sell out. I thought Cable at the bare minimum would sell out, but then again, it's not Cable with all the patches and stuff, or the pouches, like overly jacked Cable. So I don't know. Again, you guys know I love the business side of things, the sales side of things. I would love to see the numbers on this wave versus some other ones. The other one that isn't moving is Daredevil Hydro 2-pack. I think everybody understands. Everybody who really, really, really wanted a Daredevil picked up that 3-pack of Daredevil, Elektra, and Bullseye. And if they missed out on it, like myself, we see this one and we understand it's $50 for Daredevil. Like, nobody's buying Hydro with this. Like, Hydro's cool, should be released, but nobody's buying this for Hydro. You're buying it for Daredevil. And I don't feel like spending $50 on Daredevil. So, yeah. LeBron said maybe she's for New Mutants. Cutthroat says, I think people want more Wolverine and Deadpool figures from Marvel Legends because of the hype for Deadpool 3. Accurate. That is accurate. And that was displayed. One, this sold out. Logan versus Sabretooth. Where is it? I think it was a back in stock, technically. They did the Deadpool re-releases, and they sold out pretty fast. And they're old bodies. So the hype for Deadpool is real. It's very real. But I also think a lot of these would have sold if price points were lower. I'm surprised that the White Ranger helmet's still in stock. They need to really get that Green Ranger helmet out there. Really need to do that. It's a good helmet. The Lightning Collection helmets are pretty good. I know LeBron said he misses Lightning Collection. I do too. LeBron says that's basic package Cable. He doesn't even have HPO. I care more about Hydro, hate cell shading figs. That's a really good point. All right. Last up, my favorite segment of the week, talking about business and numbers, Box Office Mojo. We're hitting it up for our weekly box office recap. Where did it not load? What's going on? It's weird. It's like not loading very well. Am I still online? Am I still on the internet? Pretty sure. Yeah, I'm still live. Huh. Let me try refreshing again. I mean, I updated my sheet, so I do have the totals. But very weird. Maybe their site crashed. All right, I will go here. Yeah, maybe I broke it again. Cutthroat says, I think, but the movie I've seen this year is Beekeeper. How was it? Did you like Beekeeper? Going by release date here. All right, so Bob Marley right now is at 120 mil. I think that was the number one movie last weekend too. Right? Man, that's what I didn't write down. Like, who won the weekend? But Bob Marley at 120. Demon Slayer premiered. Demon Slayer came out the gates domestically at 11.5, international at 16. We'll round up to 17 mil. Box office right now is 28 million on Demon Slayer. Madam Web's still trying. Madam Web right now is at a total 77 million. Right on the tails of Argyle. Will Madam Web beat Argyle? The movie with probably the most stars that nobody cared about at 86.5. Will Madam Web catch it? I don't know. Yeah, box office is down. And then Beekeeper right now is at 149. I don't know if that update. I did update that one, yeah. So Beekeeper's at 149. Is Beekeeper right now the number one movie of the year? I'll check that in a second. Something that's still going strong. When I looked at the numbers yesterday, the movie Migration was in the top 5. I don't remember what it did just this weekend. Migration's at 268 mil worldwide. So that's doing very well. It's doing very well. And I thought it was Disney, but it is not. It's actually not a Disney movie. Let me go to 2024. Hit OK. So right now, the movie that has earned the most is The Beekeeper. Wow. Jason Statham, not in my bingo cards for this year. Jason Statham at the moment has the highest grossing movie of the year based on the movies that we track. This doesn't count anything out of our wheelhouse of like nerd stuff. Patrick says, I got to go catch a Demon Slayer movie. Cutthroat says, Madam Web was the worst Sony movie I've seen. I'm sorry that you saw that. Sorry you went through that. Let us know if we can help you emotionally. Geek Strong says, I have a hard time spending 20 to go to the movie since I usually fall asleep watching movies these days. Yes, I'm getting old. I feel you on that. But yeah, I still haven't done a prediction on Dune 2 or Ghostbusters, I believe. So I might talk about, no, because Dune 2 will be out by next episode. All right, Dune 2 prediction. I have to head out to work. Right now, Mean Girls opened up the highest at 28.6 domestic. I think most people that are really hardcore about Dune, like myself, if we go see it, it's going to be on IMAX. Not sure how that factors into the total domestic cost. I think if Dune 2 opens up at 40 mil domestic, that'll be a win for now. It's got to do way better going forward. I don't know anybody who wants to see Dune 2 outside of this household and some of you, but I don't know any casuals that want to see Dune 2. So I think I'm going to predict. I'm predicting. So Steven predicts 40 mil domestic. I might change that later on. But right now, I think 40 mil. I want it to get 40 mil. Steven wants 40 mil. Predicts 30. I think it gets 30. 30, 28, somewhere in there. Ghostbusters Frozen Empire. I'm going to probably say the same. I think Frozen Empire. What did Madam Web open up to? Madam Web opened 15. Mean Girls 28. Ghostbusters. Shit. I gotta run. Damn. Hang on. Hang on. Franchise. Clear. Ghostbusters. Actually, I don't need blank. Afterlife opened up at 44. Answer the Call opened up at 46. God. I'm gonna predict Frozen Empire opens. I want it to open at. I want a 60 open, but I predict 40. I think it goes down. I think it's going down to be lower than Afterlife. Only because when Afterlife came out, people were still iffy on theaters. It was one of those that people were open to the idea of going back to theaters again, not fully, but they're like, this is one I'll break my rule for. I'll go see it. So it got that 44. I think there's more hype for Frozen Empire than Afterlife, but I think it's hardcore fan base hype. I don't think it's a lot of casual hype. So I will love it to beat Answer the Call, but Answer the Call at that point, all those women in the movie were popular amongst casual people, where we don't have a lot of that in the current Ghostbuster franchise. So I'm going to predict it. I predict 40. I really want it to hit 60 domestic open. It'll make its money back. That's not a concern. But 40 and 60. 40 and 60. Still got a couple weeks to go on that. So yeah, we'll see. We'll see. If I end up going to see the movie, I of course will let you guys know. I hope I do get to go see the movie, and hopefully I can get you guys a review if I go see the movie. That'd be great. But hey, thanks for listening, guys. Thanks for watching. Always a pleasure to have you all here with us on the show. Patrick says, I'll see Dune in theaters. Great show. Got to run. Good seeing you, man. Collects LeBron. I know. Who's Steve? I don't know. Who's Steve? I feel like Sony keeps forgetting that they can't put a Spider-Man movie when they announce the... Sorry. I feel like Sony keeps forgetting they can't put Spider-Man in movies when they announce these movies. Correct. They forget the detail that they don't have the green light to actually put Spider-Man in a Spider-Verse movie. So there's that. Cool. Thanks, guys. Pleasure as always. HeyArcher Live every Thursday. I'm like trying to find this button up here. HeyArcher Live every Thursday, 8:15-ish p.m. here on Nerd Affiliated. But every Monday morning, 9 a.m.-ish, you have Nerdy Coffee. 2 different shows, 2 different vibes. Either way, you're stuck with this guy. We currently have a Ghostbuster video talking about proton packs, which is the best for you. That's live right now here on Nerd Affiliated. A second video on Anthony's new customization is currently live for members, 99 cents a month. You get access to the videos. That's live for members, dropping later this week. He's got another video that should be live for members this week. That video dropping next week. See you guys on Thursday. Like, comment, subscribe. Talk to all you nerds in the next video. Peace. And let me know if you're seeing Dune this weekend. I'm out of here. Wait, I gotta hit a button. I'm out of here.
Wow.
There's a place off Ocean Avenue where I used to sit and talk with you. We were both 16, 18. I forget the number in that song. But it felt so right. Sleeping all day, staying up all night. Boo-doo.